What's up, guys? Thanks so much for being here today. We caught you off your upcoming world tour and your stop in Edmonton. It's really good to see you both, though, really. Anna and I have known each other for a couple decades. We're getting up there.
Couple decades, that's
Yeah.
for sure.
Um, but it's so good to see you both.
You too, Eric.
Yeah.
Always good to see
Nice
you.
to catch up. It's
Um,
been a while.
Anna and Trevor are the creative directors and founders of Rust Magic, a creative agency on a global scale that helps curate artists and yourself across the world, putting together amazing pieces of art, including one that's coming up and just about done here in our city for Mural Fest. And you're living the dream life in Bali right now. But let's go back and for the audience who doesn't know each one of you, maybe tell a little more about yourself and how you got here today. We'll start with Trevor.
Okay, yeah. So, like Eric said, my name's Trevor. I came up doing graffiti through the hip hop scene in the 1990s. Began kind of met a bunch of people in the raves that were happening at the time, and from there, just met a bunch of creative people that were doing breakdancing, graffiti, DJing, and so I kind of just kept following my roots in that and moved to different places around the world doing my art. Specifically, I moved to Taiwan, where I really, I guess, got really into graffiti, and that's where I decided to kind of do it as a full time job. And then I moved back to Edmonton to keep things short, and I met Annaliza, and she was also a really creative person at the time, doing fashion and stuff. I'll let her tell her story, but um, we just decided to combine forces and start before Rust Magic a bunch of other art related stuff. So I'm an artist. I'm pursuing my art. I'm trying to now kind of merge. I'm finding a lot of love and passion on the curation side of things, as well as being a fine artist. And so that's where I'm landing right now. And it's been great. Bali's been great for inspiration and meeting other international creatives. We brought one of those here with us to Edmonton to do this mural.
Mhm.
We can probably talk about that later, but that's me in a nutshell.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I think I haven't seen you break dance before.
You have or
I
haven't?
have not.
I think
Where
you've
can I
lost
find
your
that?
chance.
Yeah. Anna,
Well,
we go way back,
yeah,
but
we
maybe
definitely go way
way
back.
back. Yeah.
Eric and I have known each other since high school, which
Let's not date
was,
ourselves here.
yeah, well, you have the idea. He already said a few decades ago, which is correct. But yeah, so back at that time, that's kind of when I got into the rave scene at a very early age, which definitely shaped me as a person, as an individual. My love for creativity, fashion, just being, just being my own unique being. And since then, I've been really involved in fashion, dabbled into graphic design. I used to work for Eric a long time ago and did sales and admin.
We all
So
work together at the
yeah, we
same
all work
company. Yeah.
together for sure. And then, yeah, kind of later on, I've always been a very avid collector of vintage fashion. So that's definitely one of my passions. Thrift clothing, unique pieces.
Before it became super cool now, where
That's
it's a,
right.
Yeah.
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 So this was back in like 2005, 2007 is when I started an online store.
And that's
Since
pretty early to
then,
start an online store as
it
well, too.
was. It was eBay at the time,
Wow.
which was awesome. And then that kind of died down with like fast fashion. But in 2007, Trevor and I met, and I kind of helped him along with his art journey as in pursuing his career in art as he left his kind of his day job.
She was
So
also painting under bridges too.
yeah, I definitely became very intrigued by the lifestyle and the mysticism of graffiti. And I met Trevor and fell in love with it. And he taught me everything I know, and just kind of helped him with projects. And then from there, I also left my 9 to 5 and pursued art as a career. So that was back in 2007. And here we are today, like just continuing our dream of being creatives, and I'm still pursuing fashion. I still have an online vintage store. So I'm just, yeah, really just doing what I love to do.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
A lot of people who love art, myself included, it's hard to take that step away from your 9 to 5 and be able to pursue art as a full time gig, living the day to days come into play, or you get wrapped up in your day job or whatever the case is, or responsibilities. And it's amazing to see that you're able to put that into action. And I know a lot of hard work, came into that. Um, can you tell me more about how Rust Magic came about from that, and how you started curating all these pieces and putting together like these amazing murals all over our city here and around the world? I know you've done. I'm going to ask you more about different places you've done that.
Mhm.
How did that come about, and when did that start where Rust Magic became, you know?
Well, I think there was a few factors which kind of brought us to concept Rust Magic. I think the first one that really was kind of really affected us was at the time the city was cracking down on graffiti, and we had just started our kind of commercial graffiti company. And so what the mandate was is that anyone that had graffiti inspired work or anything that looked like graffiti on their building, whether it was legal or illegal, that was you could get fined for that unless you cleaned it off your building. And so that really drastically, because we were on a roll, we were getting
How
jobs.
does that happen if it's legal and the building owner
You
wants it
know,
on your building?
that's the thing.
You know,
That's why we were kind of calling the bluff on that. We're like, you know what? The thing is they just don't know what like it could be, like what good like graffiti looks like. And
hmm
so our idea was to start Rust Magic, start small, bring. I think the first year we had 10 or 12 artists come, and it was an immediate success because we got a hold of people that we knew were professionals. We knew that they were going to get the job done, and they knew their work was going to be well received on a city level. And it totally worked, and it just from there built momentum. And we did the second year. I think we doubled in artists, and I think our budget went up quite a bit. We got
it's funny how that works, right? First they say no, we don't want this, and
yeah,
now
yeah.
they're like, come back for more.
Exactly. So that's all it took was just a little bit of like curation and planning.
Mhm. I also want to mention that at that time, this is around when the city was mandating like the removal of all anything that had to do with graffiti. There was an iconic graffiti piece
Right.
along the LRT line, and this was from 1987,
Oh
I
wow.
believe. So it was a very special piece, especially for a lot of graffiti writers and just Edmontonians in general. And it got painted over, and a lot of people were very upset about that because this is one of the first big large scale productions in
Was it a
Edmonton.
local artist?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lizard King was his name, and he was quite famous because he was one of the only, I guess, graffiti artists at the time that was actually really up to date with what was going on in New York. And so he had murals all along the LRT line, both on the left and right side of the windows. So a lot of people saw this. It was a Fantasia mural. It had Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, and a bunch of other
It comes to
characters.
mind now when I
Yeah,
think
yeah, it
about
was
that. Yeah.
very, very iconic. Even if you're a kid, you would have remembered seeing that going to the hockey games or football
Yes.
games. It was right before Commonwealth on the left side. So that was the other thing that really made us be like, you know what, the cities actually need people like us who are in the urban community. We know what's going on in the street to kind of preserve and archive these important hip hop pieces. And I think that's another motivation for sure of why we did Rust Magic, because there was the graffiti buff, and then there was, oh, now you're buffing over stuff that's been there for 30 years.
hmm
So I it was I
Is
think
that mandate still in place at all? Like, no one enforces that?
nah.
They've
Yeah.
really, yeah, they've really toned down
Yeah.
the marketing on that, which is nice. And I think it really helped that we introduced this festival. And it was all about education and kind of like showing the difference between quality artwork versus like some scribbles and tags. And obviously, there's so many other factors um, that matter and that are a reason why this is happening.
hmm
It's a lack of free walls. It's a lack of education. It's a lack of like offering people and artists places to practice
Right.
and get better
And
and be inspired by other art.
yeah, and like also in the media, they were coming up with these narratives of graffiti is linked to, it's a gateway drug almost to like
Where did
bigger
they where
crimes.
did they
Like
come up with
I
this?
don't know, it's like you do graffiti and you're a gangster. So we've had conversations where the city's asking us how are we supposed to deal with gang graffiti, and it's like I don't know. It sounds like that's a you
Yeah.
problem. How are you going to deal with the
Right.
gangs is the problem, right? It's
That's
not the
right.
gang graffiti. So we've had talks about, that's why they want to get rid of the graffitis, because they think
Promoting.
it's promoting gang and
Right.
violence, and it's opposite that. It's actually creating community, and it's giving people kids things to be creative. It's giving things to do for kids, in the
Yeah.
city. And
We fast forward maybe not even too far, which is present day today, and now we're adopting as a city a mural festival. We have amazing iconic pieces by, worldwide, globally known artists that are here creating amazing pieces on our walls, like this one down the road here at Edmonton, that are here now. And they're admired by everybody, young and old. I see
Mhm.
people taking photos, stopping by, walking their dog with their, whatever it is, they'll call it Instagrammable wall now. And it's really reversed that old, I think, frame of mind, through education and what you've done to really make an impact here in the city to showcase that.
Mhm.
And I think it's already been like that in other cities as well too, and we're just a little bit slower to adopt it. But tell me about why you think arts and cultural have really made an impact on how the city looks and feels. Because when I drive through downtown and now and see the mural, I feel different. It feels like it's alive and there's creativity and there's vibrancy and energy versus just a big blank wall.
Yeah.
Do you feel like arts and culture makes a big impact in any major city, and how so?
Yeah, of course. And a big part of it is like our experience in, experiencing these art forms in other cities. So that was a big thing for me, like traveling to places like New Zealand, New York,
Hmm.
and just being in a back alley and suddenly this giant, beautiful art piece comes out of nowhere. And just knowing the feeling it brought me, a sense of like, joy, and it's an energy, like you said, that it brings to a community, to an environment. And that's all we're trying to do. We're trying to inject like beauty and just positive energy into these places. And color and art is just so powerful and
Hmm.
so healing at the same time. So yeah, especially with the mural that we're doing now, there's a big message there. And I think the city and this downtown core especially needs it at this time. So that's kind of what we're trying to do.
On the reverse from maybe like 5, 10 years ago, now people are stopping by, taking photos, congratulating you, asking about
Right.
it all in a positive. I'm sure you have hopefully more positive and negative feedback while you're on site there, right?
Most definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think like the other part of that is what we've really noticed is that we've kind of allowed, everybody to enjoy art. Not galleries are not always the most welcoming
Hmm.
places for certain people in the community. And doing these murals, we embrace all types of people. It's not just people getting selfies. It's actually people that live on the street who have personal traumas, and some of these murals have helped them. Even painting this one, the last couple of weeks, we've met people that have been crying just looking at the mural, because it reminds them of a sister who's passed away, or a loved one who's not with us anymore. So it's for everybody. It's not just for affluent people coming in from different neighborhoods. It's also for we have a real soft spot for the homeless people of
Hmm.
our city. And obviously you can see Edmonton's struggling a little bit as far as that type of thing with homelessness and drugs, and we just find that our murals, I mean, if anything, if they just shed a bright light and just give people hope.
And you're hearing that from people
And we're
walking
hearing
by.
that,
Yeah.
and so that's really motivating for us to even continue to do projects in Edmonton.
Yeah. And I'm sure the artist you brought from Jakarta, right? Who's doing that, which is amazing. Indonesia is from where my family's from as well too. So I'm sure he loves that feedback as well,
Oh yeah.
and what that is,
Oh,
right?
he's loving it.
What I
Yeah.
really like about what you mentioned also too is not everyone wants to walk into like bougie art galleries, and not
Yeah.
like I don't feel comfortable going to one. But what you've done is brought that gallery to an open space that's for everybody,
Hmm.
right? What are some we talk about Edmonton, these amazing projects. What are some other projects? Maybe Trevor, you've been done projects around the world. What are some notable projects that you could tell us about?
um well, I've been to a few graffiti festivals over the time, and I've been to certain cities doing projects. I think one of the best projects I have been to recently was a project in Solo City, which is a city in on the main island of Indonesia, Java.
Java Island, yeah.
Yeah,
Where
and
my family's
that's
from.
oh really
Yes.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where I met Heart 13, who we're painting the mural with right
Hmm.
now. And I just love the organizers. They're so passionate about the culture. They're so passionate about hip hop. They're still excited about hip hop. Whereas in like I find in the West, they're jaded and they're like pretty aggro. When you go to these festivals, guys are like, yo, whoa, yo, what's up, what's up? You know, it's all like that. But in Indonesia, everyone was so just happy, like positive. The vibrations were
Hip
so
hop in the 80s,
amazing.
90s, maybe
Yeah,
80s. Yeah.
exactly. It
Yeah.
was almost like going back in the past when it was like super positive, super exciting.
Yeah.
And there was thousands of kids, not just hundreds. There was thousands of kids at this event, and
Before the time everyone's trying to flex on each other and
there was none of that.
yeah.
There was no beef. There was no macho stuff, and it was super refreshing. And bringing Heart 13 to Edmonton, if you've met him, then you can understand that energy. He's what he painted is like a masterpiece. He's a master painter, but he's so kind, so humble, just quiet, hardworking, and that's what's up. Those are the type of people that we like to vibe with.
Yeah,
Like
and that's
even like when we do Rust Magic, it's very we're very particular about the energy that we bring and share like the Edmonton with.
yeah. And different artists when they come here, they get to experience what Edmonton's like in Canada if they're not from Canada, and what they can bring to our city and through their art. Do you help curate what the designs are that's going to be on the walls, or do they come up with a concept on their own, or is it a collaboration? How do you decide what goes up? Because I think this one's really meaningful.
This one's extremely meaningful. But in the past, since 2016, when we started the festival, one of our biggest things was to give the artists complete creative control over what they produce. So, being an artist and having been in the commercial art industry for such a long time, we've always been like over directed and been told what to do. And it just really takes away from our creative spirit.
It's like
And
us, our
it's
clients like to hold our hands
exactly.
sometimes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
at this point, I like to think that we're professionals in what we're doing, and there's curation and there's selection, and there's a standard that we're trying to set. So, yeah, like these artists, we just want them to do their thing. And a lot of the time, they're given their biggest wall of their career. And it's basically just giving them a chance to elevate their careers as artists, be taken seriously. And it has helped quite a few of them. But at the same time, there's also artists who are already extremely established that we've invited here.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's just a chance for them to, again, create what they want to create. Yeah.
And sometimes just because street art festivals have become so popular around the world,
Hmm.
a lot of our artists submit us stuff that's like more street art based, but we're very actually we advocate graffiti. We advocate like, no, you can do your letters, just do something you've always wanted to do large scale. Here's a 6-story building, we're saying you can do letters. You do whatever you want. Um, Oftentimes the concepts are, we approve them like from the jump. So yeah, it's been good that way. And some of, like Annaliza said, some of the artists have done career changing murals because of they have that creative freedom.
Yeah, maybe in the past they weren't allowed to do what they really wanted to do, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
great that you give them a
exactly.
chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what you've done with the city and I'm thinking back, you've also graced the covers of Avenue magazine here, which is now Edify. Congrats on that. But you've really made a very positive change, and the way things are viewed in terms of art, and again, going from that graffiti and how they wanted to mandate all that to now embracing and saying we need this. It's became a yearly festival. That we bring artists here and do that. That's amazing work that you guys done here.
Yeah.
Um, Being here, you were here working, but you decided to make a move to Indonesia, which is not easy. And your family's here at all. What brought upon that change to decide I wanted to to go there?
Well, there were so many factors. Like this happened in 2020, of course, when we were all going through whatever we were going through at the time, and it
Hmm.
was just so hard on us. But one of the main things for me was just the thought of not being able to travel outside of our country. And I feel travel is just such an important part of being a human being
100%.
and having new experiences, learning about other cultures and other people that we share this planet with. So as soon as they announced that, we got like very, very kind of,
Paranoid.
paranoid and decided to make a move. But at the same time, Trev and I have put a lot of work into the city, and we were pretty much like on it. To be honest, we were very burnt out as
Hmm.
well. We weren't taking care of ourselves. It was just work. Like we just got in a black hole of work for many, many years, and we honestly just needed a break. So we just found this window of opportunity, and we had friends on the other side who were championing us to come over and supported us in doing that. So we just took the leap. We also felt kind of not challenged anymore. Like we were living
Hmm.
a very comfortable life, also not focusing on our individual passions. Mine being more so in fashion and wanting to have my own art practice, and for Trevor to focus on his own art practice and step into the fine art world as well and focus more on his graffiti. So that's kind of what brought it on. And
And
yeah,
how's life there?
it's amazing. It's like, everything you see in the photos, there's that side of it, but there's also another side of it.
Hmm.
It's just a good balance of both. Luckily we found like an amazing community of friends and people we call family there now. And just after 2 years, it definitely came with a lot of hardships, a lot of hurdles, and
Yeah, nothing is easy.
nothing is ever
No,
Yeah.
easy.
it's never going to be
Uh,
perfect.
Yeah. What
yeah,
people see online and social media,
no
that's just on the
way.
forefront,
No
right?
way.
And
Yeah.
those people, they take photos, like they'll go stand in front of the waterfall being all like, "Oh, I'm here," and then as soon as the picture's done, they just walk away like they're
Yeah.
not having a good time. So it's just for the gram, a lot of that
Yeah.
stuff.
They're
Yeah,
not experiencing
there's
the
a lot
moment,
of
They're not
right?
that.
experiencing the
Yeah.
moment. They're just, bragging to their friends.
I'm taking away from that last bit is, it's really good to be aware. And we often fall as individuals into this black hole, whether you know it or not, and you're not aware. Take a
Mm-hmm.
step and pause to see, is this what I really want right now? Is this,
Exactly.
and years can go by and you don't know that you're in that hole. And it's great that you're able to help each other out and find that and make a decision together to like, take a leap. On
Hmm.
one side of things, you're burnt out because you're really challenged at work with a lot of different things. But on the other side, you don't get to do what you want to do as well too, and you want to step into a new challenge, which is moving to the new place, right? And
Exactly.
it's not easy. I hear a lot of people, they tell me this is a dream, my whole life dream, I want to do this, I want to do that, or whatever the case is, but they never do it. They never ever do it. And then 10
Hmm.
years goes by, 20 years goes by, and like, you said you were going to do this, like, I will one day. But what I really like about you both is you took action and you made it happen. Whatever the outcome was, you're willing to take that risk and give that a try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Thank
think
you.
it's like a lot of people just like actually being away in Indonesia and coming back to Edmonton, we've realized just how hard the grind is here, how much like we take work serious, we take quality serious. It's just even stepping into this, we haven't had a day off, the whole time we've been here. It's
Yeah.
just been, and we're used to it, but I can definitely now see how fast paced things are here and how yeah, we were just stuck in a couple years ago. We're right back in that right now,
Yeah.
it's we can handle it. It's great right now because we're only here for a couple weeks, but then we're back to Indonesia, and it's just more it's more laid back there, and you have more time to focus on yourself, which was, we're organizing and running a graffiti festival, yet we're not doing, the culture. We're not actively participants in it. So I think moving was like a perfect natural reset for the both of us to
Hmm.
have a larger perspective on both of our lives. And I think sitting here now, we have a better idea of how to move forward with our
Perspective is different.
exactly our perspective is different of how we see ourselves and how we see Rust Magic.
Right. Um, and I guess thinking about the moving and all that, um, what would you take? I guess what would you say? I'm thinking about everyone who tells me they want to do what you did, and oh, you're living the dream, and it's not always the dream. They don't see the hardships in between, right?
Mhm.
But what kind of advice would you take someone who's kind of stuck in that path, and you take a moment to reflect, like you said, but how do you intentionally, get someone to how do you step back and enjoy the moment and reflect? Like, what is the piece of advice you can you can give about, making sure you take time for yourself. It's so
Yeah.
easy to be in the day-to-day grind here, like you said, and you're like caught up in the
I
in the
guess
life in the 9 to 5 and look and feel and get better, bigger things, but that's not really what's important sometimes, right?
Hmm.
yeah,
So,
it's not important. It is a part of it. Just being a human, we live in this material world, and
mhm.
it's nice to have things, and it can bring happiness. But at the end of the day, I think personal peace is what's most important, and just really like a friend told us this a while ago, and it really stuck. Is just figuring out what you want and what you want out of your life. Like
It
you only
sounds
get
easy, but
one
it's,
Yeah.
chance.
yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah, it's not easy to actually really dial in and be very specific about what you want out of your life. Is it like, I want to make this much money, I want to live here, I want to like
But what's
have
the real
these
purpose
things?
behind that, right?
Exactly.
They get there and then they feel like, okay, hit this, now what? I'm unfulfilled, right?
Mhm.
I had Sean Kanungo on earlier,
Mhm.
and he talked about a mission and a
Mhm.
life mission, which I really liked. Is it important for everyone to have that life mission to be aligned with what you know the true picture is, and if
Um,
that, what's that for you guys?
hmm. Well,
That's a good
that's a
question.
good question.
Like I think that it's, we hear it all the time growing up. We hear it all the time as entrepreneurs, as people trying to work on themselves. But like goal setting can't be understated. It's really, you have to really, I wake up really early in the morning just because there's uh, calmness, there's peace.
Hmm.
I write down my ideas. I wake up at 4 a.m. in Bali, and I just have 3 hours where I just get all my ideas
Uninterrupted time.
out, uninterrupted. The roosters aren't even out yet.
Hmm.
It's
That's
just
usually my wake
it's
up call in
just
Indonesia. When I
chill.
hear the roosters, I'm
Yeah,
like, okay, that's my wake up
yeah. But
call. Yeah,
sometimes you have the
Exactly.
weird ones that wake up at
yeah,
3 a.m. You're like,
yeah.
no, it's not time yet. But I think like you have to every day, you have to just like stay on that goal. You got to stay on your mission. It's like working out. If you take like a day off or next it's like 2 weeks off, all of a sudden you're not working out for a month. If you do that in your goal setting, you're not going to get anywhere. So it's really important to every day return to like what you're doing in life and how you're going to get to that mission. If it's just like, oh, I want a house, every day you have to figure out how you're going to get to that house and just stay on it. And I think the one of the biggest things for me personally is always be hungry to learn, always be a student. Don't think you know everything. That's when you're just going to get nowhere. You have to be able to absorb information and grow from it and expand as a human. So I think you have to be also hungry to find mentors, hungry to find people that have already got there and start conversations with them. It's so easy now with social media.
People are scared though. Like I hear, like I myself, like I want to reach out to this person, or I think there's a lot of people who see you as possible mentors and they want to be where you guys are at, but they're scared to make that call, DM, email, whatever that may be. Like, what is some advice to people?
Just do
Just
it. I
yeah.
Just
mean,
do it.
just do it,
Yeah.
honestly.
Even like, there's this form of like guilt that set in when we first moved to Bali. Like, oh my God, our life is so amazing. We're so happy. We're living this wonderful life. And someone told me, like, just, you're living a life that you deserve. So always know that you are so
Mm.
deserving of everything and anything that you want. And, just that fear will just disappear.
Yeah, and I
So,
think you live the life that you want it to be, right? If you are thinking negative and you think these bad things will happen or you can never achieve X, Y, Z, then you might not get there. But if you're thinking that this is the path, this is what I'm gonna do, those little steps in action and those goals, if you write down the goals, now you have a path and a trajectory on the map of how to get there, you will achieve whatever that may be.
mhm,
Yeah,
Yeah.
mhm.
exactly. And manifest. You
Manifest.
gotta, you
I
gotta
honestly, I
seriously, it's
believe in
for
that.
real.
I
Like
Yes,
really
yes.
believe in
once
that.
you do it, it might not happen right away, but watch out. Like once that first thing comes in, it
Yeah.
just keeps coming in.
Because if you don't do that, you're not taking the steps forward to achieve,
Exactly. You're not
you
setting the
know,
energy. You got to set that vibration out there. It's real.
Mhm, mhm.
100%.
Yeah.
Um, I'm going to ask a question to you from probably a lot of artists that are watching this or young creators, and it's such a great time to be a creator now, right? Like they have social
Oh, it's
media, they can
amazing.
spread the
It's
word, they can do
crazy.
whatever they want.
Everything.
Um, I hate that we keep dating ourselves, but but there's a lot of people and those I know who are doing what they do, or their parents want them to do a certain thing, and they want to follow this path. But how would you? They want to be a creator. They want to do art. they want to paint, they want to do murals, whatever they may be. But they're kind of forced into this like system of ours in North America where they have to work 9 to 5, they have to get a good job and a good income and, you know, follow that automated flow that everyone else does. What's your advice to a young creator who just wants, how do they take that leap to doing what they love and making and getting their creative passion as like a full-time job or life, you know?
Well, just again, like just the consistency and the discipline is definitely key. Like Trevor mentioned, like just to stay on your goal and not to lose the vision and keep writing about it, keep imagining it, keep like just just holding those pictures of success in your head and meditating on it and yeah, just not to let go of it.
Mhm.
And then even if you are going to a job you don't enjoy and having to do this, may it just like be a stepping stone to get where you want to go.
Mm.
So just little by little,
I think,
you know.
yeah, I think I really like what you said there because people have to understand something. Whatever you're at now is a stepping stone, and
Mm.
it's in that path where it's meant to be to do that, right?
And
Yeah.
you know what, I think to add to that, I think at least from what we've experienced with our peers and some of our closest friends who are also artists, like, you know, when you're an artist, you there's this like, you seek validation from others, and that seeking a validation can really keep you back.
Mm.
And I think one of the best things that Annaliza and I had done when we first started thinking about creative projects is to just produce them ourselves. You know, I'm an artist. The galleries here in Alberta kind of focus on landscapes and abstracts, but we do more like street art and graffiti. So we had to rent a space and, you know, put the paintings up and then invite people out. And so there, right there is just, we're just taking initiative, we're taking action. No one's gonna come and save the day for someone like us. So we just, you know, we don't wait for validation. We just go out and just do it. And that's what I think a lot of artists aren't doing. They're waiting for that. They're waiting to blow up. They're waiting for that
They're
validation.
waiting
That's
to
not
blow up.
coming all
It's
the
not
time,
coming.
right? You have to
Exactly.
really hustle. You
Yeah.
have to do that. You have to put yourself out there. And now with social media, there's no
Endless
reason why
ways.
you can't,
That's
you
right.
know, blow up. You know, if you are. That's the other thing. It's not just about being an artist. You have to be a really amazing marketer,
Yeah, that's right.
a business person.
Yeah.
Hire Eric.
Yeah.
talking about
So creative.
talking about I guess business a little bit too. A lot of things are, you know, my grandpa was an artist and in Indonesia actually. But like the big thing is also like the starving artists. So people are always worried about that. If I, you know, do my passion full time or do my art, I won't be able to make a living. What is your advice on, and this is always a question, like, how do you charge for art? How do you make it into a living? How do you make it sustainable? And it's not easy. And there's always, you know, but what is, how do people, what's next in that step for people who want to do that and turn it into a business that they can support themselves or their families even?
Yeah, that's so hard because personally speaking, like we've gone through so many things where, we almost lost our house at one point, like over our art. And it's just really tough decisions you have to make. But one of our things having gone through this is just definitely asking for help when you
Mm.
need it and not being afraid to ask for help. And like if you can take yourself seriously, you need to prove to others that they can take you seriously too. And yeah,
That's
at
a very good point.
times, yeah,
Yeah.
like people don't believe in you. So maybe you have to work a little harder,
You have to
but
believe in yourself.
you have to believe in yourself is number one.
And not
Yeah.
every successful artist is making a lot of money. That's just a facade, you know. Like there's
Yes.
often like, you know, they're all in on a project and they have invested $250,000 to making they have nothing in the bank, you know, but it looks like they're like this, like, you know, really successful, famous artists, but it's not for everybody. We don't have, you know, racks of cash in our bank account all the time. It's constantly going in and out. We're traveling. So
Hmm.
you just have to have really thick skin if you want to be a full-time artist, because oftentimes the money's not there, you know,
Hmm.
and then you do a couple big projects and then the money's there again, but then you have to pay for all your bills and, you know, all the stuff you're behind on. So it takes time. It takes, you know, now it's decades.
Trial and
Yeah,
error
it
in
takes trial
decades.
and
And
error.
now
Trial and error.
And,
people are asking you, people are lining up to get you guys in for art.
I wish.
Yeah.
I wish. But at
Yeah.
the same time, like, yeah, one having that talent and the art is one thing, but it's also having the business sense, and you really have to educate yourself in that area too, because if you are an artist, you have to be organized and have all your stuff in line and just make sure that money is coming in, and you're saving it and just investing it into your future
Hmm.
as well, because yeah, being an artist, unless you're famous and
Yeah.
you've been
But
picked up.
but every overnight success, nobody sees the
The
years and years and decades of hard work behind that.
the
Exactly.
It
BTS.
always looks like that.
Yeah.
What I really picked up from that last point was just like asking for help. That's something that even myself or people I know, I feel like you don't you feel like you don't want to ask for help. It's almost that ego sometimes too.
Yeah.
But really, there's amazing people around you, whether they be your peers or family, or even others like mentors, like you mentioned, and other people who maybe do art as a business. Just reach out, because when I talk to other, maybe creators or agencies or anyone who's doing business and doing very well, they're always willing to send the elevator back down to help young people, or in their young as in career young, because they know what it feels like to be you at that time. So
Yeah.
I think reaching out for help, you'd be surprised, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Especially when you have that really good idea, but you don't have enough cash, but you believe in yourself. That's exactly
Mhm.
the time to ask for help.
Yeah.
Your homies, anybody,
Yeah.
anyone that you have done work for
Well,
in the past.
they don't have the roadmap or framework in order to accomplish what that is. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's a limiting factor. People are always worried about asking for help when they can.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, you have a business together, a successful one, but you're also partners. How does this dynamic work together? Is it hard? Do you have your own space to work on your own creative projects? Do you ever, I guess, battle over what you're gonna do? This is a question people always say: don't work with your spouse or whatever the case is. How do you guys successfully over many many years make this work and have the amazing business you have now?
Where do I start?
Hmm.
I guess I think it's
I
just
have my
like
own room.
anything. Yeah. You just focus on your own strengths. So,
Hmm.
um, right away, like as soon as we started dating, we pretty much started working together. And we just found that, we worked really well together. We understood each other. We had the same like goals and interests, and we just got it. And it's very rare, I feel,
Hmm.
for us to work as well as we do. Um, but it's definitely
Takes work as
key.
well.
Yeah, it's always work. It's always work, and lots of trial and
It's
error
like, what are
again.
you
But
working on today?
yeah,
What are you
exactly.
doing? I don't see that pencil moving. But no, it's and the other thing is it's just about having, I guess, having a goal and like seeing the big picture and knowing that you're both getting there somehow. So we've just I've been really excited about the projects that we work on,
Hmm.
and we love culture, we love fashion, we love art, and that's kind of where we kind of place ourselves. And I think once in a while we'd be like, "How about this? Think about this idea. What if we did this? What if we go to Japan and da da da? We'll get this artist," and then we just vibe on that, and like then it's just a matter of how do we get there,
So
and
open conversations about
open,
ideas.
yeah, yeah,
Everything.
Yeah.
and like truth be told, Annaliza's like we're walking before I'd walk into meetings and it would just be me trying to pitch a graffiti concept, and people look at me differently, but Anna just
Brings
creates
that
that
flair.
sweetness,
Yeah.
she puts that icing on the cake, and
Yeah.
then I just follow behind her. So
It's a perfect
it's a perfect
balance.
balance.
Teamwork.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
definitely teamwork in all aspects, in the relationship, in the business, in our life, because yeah, we know like this collective energy is working toward collective goals.
hmm
And we bring each other up. If one person's not 100%, the other person can take the load on.
And that's a
And
true partnership.
yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
that's all it is.
yeah.
So
But yeah, we definitely have days where we don't talk at all. And there's other days where, it's all business, and, then we have to just shut it off. But at the end of
you
the
can make
day,
it work.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
we
and
definitely
we're
can.
like out painting 6-story murals
Yeah.
together. So we have that bond as well, where it's like we've been in really hectic situations together, whether it's up high in the murals or if we're painting in some different city under a bridge or something. We have that, trust, and we have that bond with each other. And then like to just go back to one of your questions before is, I think if you, as an artist who's wondering how to do it, I think if you're not good at business, find a friend or find a sister or brother who's better at emailing, who's better at
Mm-hmm.
communicating on the phone. Just leave your ego, check your ego at the door. You're not good at talking. Get that person, your sister, to make the call and, handle your business for you. Because it's the business is, I would say, 80%
Right.
of the art grind.
Yeah. People don't realize that
They don't realize
sometimes.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's building an amazing team around you. My amazing team is here with me
Mm-hmm.
today, and
Teamwork.
teamwork. You have to build great people around you in order to all grow together.
Yeah.
That's right.
Lastly, you talked about goals and your goal list and your collective goals. What are some of those goals, if you are willing to reveal some of that? And what's next for yourselves, Rust Magic, and in the years to come? I know you opened a new studio in Indonesia and Bali, and what are some of those goals, and what's next for you both?
Go ahead, Trev.
Okay.
You can share.
I like that question. It's good. Keeps you on point. For me, like, I don't want to date myself, but as I get older, sustainability as, a graffiti artist, somebody who's, working at night or doing 6-story murals, it's not really, long term, I don't really see that being feasible. So for me, I would really like to lean into more, uh, double down on curation, on writing, advocating for the
Mm,
culture. There's a museum of graffiti in Miami, run by Alan Ketz, who's someone I've looked up to from the New York scene for, since the '90s. And I'm thinking about something like that. It would be great to have a facility. If Rust Magic had a facility where we could have those legal walls that Annalisa is talking
mm.
about, have that education, teach, the urban community, the kids that are coming through about the culture, about business. Uh,
Have a space where they can
have a
learn
space where they
what
can
you had to
learn.
learn over
Yeah,
30 years or
exactly,
whatever it is, so
exactly.
that they can learn
Yeah, for
and they
sure.
can be
Like,
successful.
I mean, like back when I started spray painting, we had to like find the caps off of like cleaning containers, and put them on the cans. And that's we don't have to. You don't have to do that anymore. We can get right to the
Yeah.
business. We can get right to the culture. And so I think for me, stepping into more of a curation role and more of a advocate and speaker on the culture and the history of graffiti is kind of what I'm looking for. And then on top of that, I guess one of my bigger goal is to be, I guess, like a really successful, well-known fine artist.
You are
That's,
already.
it could be better. That's kind of uses graffiti as the roots to my work and also my indigenous and Jamaican heritage.
Hmm.
So that's what I'm really focusing on now is building a story behind my artwork and then pushing it out internationally, first through Asia, then hopefully circling back through North America.
That's amazing. Anna, anything to
Eric's
add?
looking at me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's just so many. I'm like the type of person who I just want to do everything all at
Yeah.
once. But one of the main goals, I guess, is just being in Bali and having stepped away from just the hectic, chaotic life in North America. That's just all about work and money and just overworking
Yeah.
ourselves. Being in Bali has taught me that it's very important to take care of yourself um, and really go inward in a sense of, just figuring out what you want to do with our very short time on this planet.
Hmm.
So, one of our goals in like with what Trevor was talking about in education is to create some type of artist residency that also doubles as like a retreat center where artists can come and actually learn from one another and work on collections, work on um, just work on art and be creative in a
Hmm.
very peaceful setting
You
and
need to make
just
that
to
retreat there in Bali for people to
Yeah.
exactly
come.
that's
Mm-hmm.
the goal.
Yeah, I love that.
So yeah, that's a long-term goal, but it's
Great.
definitely one of them.
Cool.
I think, yeah, just being an artist, we just get so caught up in just working and just overworking ourselves
Yeah.
at the same time that we forget to relax. And
People think it's so easy and you just, but
exactly,
it's not.
it's not.
Yeah.
No.
It's
Yeah.
not. And there's a lot of healing that needs to
Yeah.
happen too, like especially like just in our many years of struggling as starving artists and learning how to just succeed in our business.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that
Awesome.
in that world too that people don't really talk about.
Cool. Lastly, I think I miss our run club, by the way. But you
Yeah.
guys both did an ultra marathon, if not mistaken.
Not an ultra, no.
It
Trevor
might, it
did
might
an
as
ultra
well be.
actually.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
was
it was pretty
hardcore.
much,
But yeah, I'm just we missed that run club. You had an
Yeah.
amazing run club you had here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
running was such a big
Run
part
All
of our
City.
lives.
We
Yeah.
had the crew. It was
Yeah.
great.
Cool.
40 people at
That was
one.
crazy.
It was
That's
crazy.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we did, yeah, it was a race on Mount Batur, which is one of the biggest mountains in Bali. And I ran a 15K on the volcano, and it was hard and it was awesome. And it really, I forgot how much I love running. So definitely want to get back into that. But the conditions are different in Bali, right? Like you get the
Air is
heat,
different.
the
It's
air is
hot.
Yeah. It's
different.
humid. It's hot. Sticky.
You're running on volcanoes, you know?
Oh,
But Trev did the 30K
Mhm.
all the way to the top of the mountain. And
all the way
That's
down.
amazing.
yeah,
Yeah.
Cool.
so got to get
Well,
back into it.
yeah. Thanks, you guys. It's honestly so good to see you both. I miss seeing you on a
You
weekly
too, Eric.
basis.
Yeah,
I
you too.
know.
And thanks for taking your time. I know you're super busy and you're limited time here, but you took your time to be with us in the studio today.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
for
I
sitting down with
appreciate you,
us.
Eric.
Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Peace.